to us.
Some would say sexy.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, Jose, you're
we'll say
canceled, man.
a little bit
Jesus.
sexy. You
I'm doing really good. I'm really excited for the new year. I did a lot of reminiscing over the break. I was thinking about 2022, and man, the first half of the year, all we had was the brew, faction fleet, and a dream. And now we're going into 2023, and we have a lot more things coming. We obviously have Sage. We have all these different things coming out this year, and it's really exciting. So just looking back and comparing the beginning of 2022 to the beginning of 2023, you really see the amount of progress that we made this whole year, and I'm just really excited to kind of hit the ground running here. 2023 is going to be a really, really good year.
Yeah, man. Like what you said, it's really true, man. Like half a year ago, we only had the faction fleet, the brew, and a dream, and now we have wow, like, and we're
Multiplayer.
going to have more and more. Like we have multiplayer, we have the showroom, we have and the showroom R2 with a lot of different modules. It's
Say,
we have core, we have the Sage manual, and it's only going to get better and better. So yeah,
Santi, one thing that I foresee us doing this year is playing 3 versus 3 dogfighting in showroom, man. Something
Oh
like
God,
this.
us three.
I
Who's beating
for
us three? Who's beating us three? I don't think
the
anyone's
three
beating
of us versus
I'm
the
calling out.
community.
I'm
Imagine
calling out
that.
everyone. I'm calling out
Imagine
everyone
that.
right now.
Imagine that.
Wow,
Benny saying, "I take you three alone."
oh my
that'd
god,
be
man.
really funny. That'd
Oh
be a
my god,
really
that
fun
would be
tournament
super
idea.
fun. That would
Yeah.
be super fun, Benny. I'd love to see that. Man, imagine
Yeah.
that, like official matches in the showroom, 3 versus 3, 5 versus 5, dogfighting, asteroid belt. You are on leaderboards. Let's go, man. Things got real.
Bro,
Things get real,
that's
bro.
yeah,
Yeah, don't hold me
things get
accountable
real.
for that. This is something that I
I'm already holding
foresee.
you accountable.
Oh
You're
my
already
god,
yeah, Jose.
I'm getting fired.
This
The
is
You're
first
already
brew at
fired,
the
bro. Get the hell out of here.
the, the first
Jose is
brew of the month.
developing this
Day.
on UE5 alone.
Yeah,
So
guys,
he's
don't worry, I got this.
that's it, Jose. You committed to doing it.
Oh my god. Let's go back to the topic
Yeah.
before I get fired.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the topic. Jose, you casually said that, but it's only theory crafts, you know?
Theory craft. This is all theory craft, you guys.
Oh my
Always.
gosh.
Always.
Yeah.
Put the
So
disclaimer.
going back to the economic topics. Going back to the economic topics. If you're interested in the economy of Star Atlas, more specifically Sage, but also like the bigger Star Atlas economy, we had one member of our econ team, Chris Smith. You met him. He was here at the brew. He was in the town hall. You probably know him. So he participated in a podcast that we have the link, and Dom is going to post it in the Atlas Brew chat. So if you're interested in the Atlas economics and the economics design of it, and just getting a deeper dive on the econ side of Star Atlas, it's a great podcast, and yeah, you might
Man,
want to check that out.
Chris is a genius. Like I was actually listening to this, and it's crazy. It's crazy to listen to him talk. So I'm really happy he's part of the team, and he's kind of turning into a superstar. He's on Twitter Spaces, he's on podcasts, he's on YouTube's. It's crazy. Yeah, Chris is doing a really good job. Really happy to have him a part of the team, and he just got his PhD like late last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy's a beast.
yeah,
Yeah,
very cool to
that
have him on the
podcast
team.
is really super cool. I would definitely recommend to everybody who's interested in the economy of Star Atlas, which I kind of assume is everybody, but definitely check that out.
Thank you for shilling,
Yeah,
Funcracker. Appreciate you.
Man, we have some good guys in the Star Atlas team, right? Man, whenever I see our team in action, well, bro, I get hyped. That's all I can say.
Well, my dad
yeah.
used to tell me when I was younger to surround myself with people smarter than yourself. I'm the
Bro.
dumbest person on this team, so I mean, I feel pretty good.
Yeah,
No, man, come
objective
on.
achieved. We made it.
We
We
made it,
made it.
guys.
But
The
with
three of
Dominic,
us.
we have two PhDs in this conversation. It's me and Dom, PhD in life. We achieved.
Oh my god. PhD in Degen.
Yeah,
PhD.
Jose. Yeah,
Steady, steady,
UMD.
bro. Steady.
Yeah,
Steady.
keep it steady, keep it
Steady.
steady.
Keep it
Just
steady,
yeah.
guys.
Okay, back to the econ chat.
Say, Chico.
Back to the econ chat. So we have the Sir Atlas Economics report out now. So not sure if you guys went through it. If not, we can do a separate brew for it. But curious if you read it, if you have like any feedback or anything to comment about it. We're not going to go into details on the econ report today in the brew, but we want to know if you liked it, or if you haven't checked it out, also tell us. We're going to be a little bit disappointed, but it's okay. It's okay. You can go and check that out. It's very detailed. Of course, these are quarterly econ reports that the economics team from Sir Atlas produces, and they are pretty sick. If you want to know how the economy is developing, how it's evolving, and where we are at now, with details on all the statistics and interesting things. So, yeah, definitely another thing to check out. Another thing that you guys should check out. Anything to add here, Dom or Jose?
No, I think you nailed it.
Okay,
nah, yeah,
cool,
you did it perfect.
cool. Another thing to remind everyone is that January is going to be all about the Sage game manual, guys. So yeah, January we're going to dedicate it fully to the Sage game manual, and you can go and mark as interested in the other brews that we have for this month. Just scroll up to the top of the server, you will see 4 events. The one that is live now, then we have politics, game structure, and then we have community and freestyle. So go scroll up to the very top of the server, see the events, mark the events as interested, and just so you don't miss it, so you don't miss any events.
I'm really excited
So
for the
what else? What else?
multi-faction brew next week. We
Oh,
had
that's
we
going
had
to be
one we
fire.
had one last year, and I think the consensus was last year that multi-faction guilds would not be viable. And there seems to be like a kind of the tables have turned a little bit, and now people are saying that multi-faction guilds will be fine in Sage. I have my own opinion that I will save for the next brew. But I hope Ronald, that you're able to join. My voice cracked, but I hope some of the bigger guilds are able to join and talk about why that they think that multi-faction guilds are going to be successful and give reasons as to why it's going to be successful. So I'm really excited for next week's brew.
I'll be there for
Yeah.
sure.
Thank you, Ronald.
Yeah. Again, we
Awesome.
had a brew about this last year, but now we have a lot more information about
Yeah.
how everything's going to work. We have a huge manual, so it's only yeah. We had to do it again. So come next week to the brew and find out what people think about it. What else? What
Multi-faction.
else do we have? I think that's pretty much it. There's also one bug in Magic Eden in case you're trading NFTs. I don't know if it's happening only in a few collections, but there are some collections that are getting NFTs that are not from the collection listed. So, like fake NFTs. So, I will be cautious if you're trading on Magic Eden. Oh, the White Mind said it's Utes and ABC. So, yeah, be careful in
It
case we
looks
have
like it was
some
actually just resolved a
NFT
minute
degens.
ago by
Really?
Magic Eden. Yeah, they just tweeted it. So, but
Okay, nice.
still, it's a good thing to point out just in case.
Yeah. We just want if we can save our people some pains, then we are going to do it. Uh, But yeah, good work by the Magic Eden team, right? They solved it. Cool. So I think it's a good moment to jump into the main topic. So we're going to talk about economics in Sage. As you know, again, the whole month of January is going to be dedicated to the Sage game manual. And this week, today, right now, we have the economics brew. And we're going to talk about direct and indirect Atlas syncs in Sage that we can find in the Sage game manual. So first, we're going to talk about like the ones that you can find now, and then we also want to brainstorm together with you guys about Atlas syncs that could be happening, taking place in the future when Sage gets to a next stage, or things that could be developed for it. So yeah,
Real quick,
let's
Santi, what's
yeah,
a
please.
direct and indirect sync? Just I think that's something good to start off with.
Of course, of course. So there are direct syncs that it's more like where you directly pay the Atlas for something. Like it's completely direct. You're just paying the Atlas. And for example, we have a few examples. Not sure if you want to get into the examples now, but maybe it's yeah, it's a good moment. So for example, one direct sync is the star path gates where you are directly paying Atlas to use them. So that's one direct sync. And the indirect syncs will be the more general ones, for example, the resources. So you need to spend Atlas for buying resources, for example. And
Or the
that's one
marketplace,
Atlas
right?
sync. Yeah, marketplace as well. So those are more like indirect. But there are a lot of direct
Yeah.
syncs in Sage. And well, the main example, not the main, but one of the examples, more clear examples, is the Starpath gates. So maybe we can explain a little bit about what this is, and not sure, Jose, if you want to take it, or I
Yeah,
can continue, but I will like a sip of water.
no problem, Santi. Just something really important for us to start the brew with. What we are doing here in Star Atlas is creating an economic ecosystem. So, differently from other projects that create tokens and burn tokens and etc., in Star Atlas, we aim to provide utility for the in game currency that's Atlas. Atlas, as most of you guys are already aware, is the common currency of our galaxy, meaning that if you want to acquire products and services inside Star Atlas, normally they are denominated in Atlas. So in the future, the idea here is that you'll be able to pretty much acquire anything just right, just like in real life with Atlas. So if you want to acquire ships, if you want to acquire pretty much all the resources, services, establish contracts, everything will be denominated in Atlas inside our game. And right now, what we are doing is building the very first utilities for our currency inside the game. And we have already a good list of activities that will require you to use Atlas inside the game. Santi nominated one of them, the Star Path fees, but we'll be going through most of them today, if not all of the ones already established. And then we'll be going to the theory crafting side, to indirect Atlas Sync side, and think about some cool features that we can perceive and brainstorm for the Star Atlas project in the future. So the first one that Santi just talked about is the star path fees. And to understand that, you need to understand what is the star path. In Star Atlas, right after the Convergence War, the galaxy was pretty much destroyed, and the factions they were split in each one of the different corners of the galaxy. And they understood that if they wanted to rebuild, if they wanted to build a galactic economy, what they need is a chain of warp gates that would connect them together. This would facilitate the service, the products, everything in the galaxy to work in a more efficient manner. So they pulled the resources and created this uh, chain of warp gates that's called the star path. In Sage, the star path is used to warp from one star system to the other. You'll be able to move around without the star path system, but the star path system makes things much, much easier if you use them. There is also a political aspect of the star path program, the star path chain of warp gates, is that you need to control the star system now in Sage in order to use it. So aside from the economic utility, the in-game utility of also traveling faster, you also have a political component of the star path. And to use the star path to fund the system, you need to pay fees. And actually, one of the paths in the privilege, the council rank privilege system, is a reduction on those fees. If I'm not mistaken, I remember it being the maximum of 25% discount.
You're
So,
correct, Jose.
yeah, oh, that's awesome. So, yeah, what you need to do if you want to warp, if you want efficiency, if you want to escape the pirates that are coming after you, you need to use the warp gates, you need to use the star path, and that implies you using Star Atlas fees to use the technology. But that's not the only one use case for Atlas right now off the batch in Sage. Aside from the Galactic Marketplace, where you'll be selling the R20 and R4 resources directly in Atlas, you'll also be able to reclaim assets lost in the medium risk zone when your star base is destroyed. This is something that we were talking about with the econs and game design team. I advocated for everyone to lose all their resources if they left them in a star base that is destroyed. But as I'm just a humble penguin, I was outvoted, and people decided that a part of your storage in Sage will be burned, but if you pay an Atlas fee, you can redeem part of your assets. So let's say you deposited like 1,000 fuel in a Starbase GF5 that got destroyed. A certain percentage of that fuel is going to be gone, but if you want to retrieve that the part that's remaining, you need to pay Atlas to do that. So that's another use case for Atlas, and I foresee that's going to be an use case that's going to be pretty much used in Sage, as Starbase being destroyed will be a very common thing in the game.
Jose, I have a question on this part.
Sure, bro.
Two questions actually. And if you don't know, totally okay. Maybe we can just brainstorm about it. But what is the percentage of resources that you'll be able to get back from the Atlas sync? And then my next question was going to be actually, let's start with that one first.
I don't know. I don't think this was disclosed yet, but I don't foresee that's being a lot, actually. I guess this will take away the fun of it, right? Maybe 30, 40%, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe for you guys, what kind of percentage would you guys think that you should see? I'm really interested to see that, because once you start seeing the percentages, how much it costs, that's when you can really start like determining whether or not something is actually viable. Um, but I'm also interested in when a starter base is destroyed and the resources kind of, I don't know, are there, and you can reclaim a portion of it with Atlas fee. Is that something that you have to travel to kind of get it back, or is it like an option when the star base is destroyed? Like the game gives you an option. Hey, do you want to reclaim 30% of your lost resources for an Atlas fee?
Yeah, that's a good
I think
question
it
for the
depends. It
community.
depends on the zone. It depends on the zone where you are, where your starbase got destroyed. Like
Hmm.
probably, if it's the high risk zone when the high risk is available,
Yeah,
then
it's
it's probably
gone.
going to be
Yeah,
zero. Yeah, gone. And if it's medium risk zone, then it's a good percentage of it. And maybe if you travel back to where it was destroyed, you can recover by paying the Atlas fee, or maybe you can pay a higher Atlas fee and not have to travel to the place where it got destroyed. I don't
Yeah, maybe. One thing that I envision
know.
in the
That would be a
future,
good one.
just a small caveat to this question, because the opportunity arise, I feel that the medium risk zone is going to have different, let us say, rules depending on how deep the medium risk zone you are. Like for example, right now in the in the Sage first release, what you guys will be seeing is the outer ring of the medium risk zone. It's the most civilized part of the medium risk zone. This is where you see civilizations, you see traffic, you see you see civilized world. When you go deeper into the medium risk zone, you start seeing uh, notes and ideas or concepts that become very apparent in the high risk zone. And there is a lot of reason for that. We'll be uncovering it in the future. But to address this question, I feel that if your star base is in the outer ring of the medium risk zone, you might be able to reclaim more of the resources. If it's deeper into the medium risk zone, I feel you'll be able to reclaim less and less resources from that. So, yeah, I feel that this is also a very interesting gameplay mechanic that will be having the medium risk zone expanding and becoming more and more wild and less civilized in the Star Atlas gameplay.
And
Yeah,
also, you know, do you know if it applies also for ships? Like if you have resources on a ship and the ship gets destroyed,
Oh, for
you
sure.
go back. Okay.
Yeah, I feel
It's
that
not all.
ship in the ship's case, I guess you lose everything in the medium risk zone. You just don't lose the ship, but you lose all the resources that it were on the ship, and they are not reclaimable.
that's
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, that's a huge sink on itself, right? If you are a fright, you are carrying thousands and thousands of resources. You get destroyed. Your your inventory becomes loot, and a part of it's burned and GG double P.
GGWP. Man, that would suck. That would suck.
That would
Holy
be
crap.
so much fun.
How much Atlas to bonk me? 2 million
Just also
Atlas.
That
An Atlas thing that I'm actually really excited about is the readjustment of council rank levels. I think at the start of Sage, like you see like a meta form, like an early game meta form, and I think at the start of Sage, everyone's really gonna kind of maybe be doing something different. Like there's gonna be different people doing different things, just kind of experimenting. But as the game goes on, I think you're going to really start to figure out what you actually want to max in your council rank levels. So I think at the start of Sage, people might regret what they did for council rank levels, and they're like, okay, I need to actually readjust now. So I think there's going to be a lot of readjusting for council rank levels, and I think that's maybe going to be the most used, if I had to guess. Um, but yeah, I really like that
Yeah.
one. I think that one's a pretty good one.
I would
man,
also go for that Dome actually, because you can change game styles as you progress,
Yeah.
and maybe you prefer to follow a different path in Sage, and you will need to pay that. You will need to pay that fee to change it. So one thing that we were discussing, I think it was in the Spanish brew actually, we talked about this, and how much it should be. Like, should it be for you to change the points and reuse them? Like, should it be a huge amount? Like, should it be really difficult to do it? Should it be easy? Like, it changes a lot the gameplay experience. So That's I'm not sure if we want to answer this one here right now, but that's a very interesting topic because if people can, if it's like a really small fee, people can change it. For example, maybe you have all the benefits to be a good fighter, but then you loot some cargo, I don't know, and you change the council points to be better at that. And if you can move that like so easy, it changes the whole Sage gameplay experience. Not sure if you're following me,
Yeah,
guys.
no,
What I'm saying.
I totally understand what you're saying. You're saying like if it's too easy to kind of adjust your council rank levels, like let's say it only
Yeah.
costs like 5 Atlas, like literally, I don't even know, like a penny. People would be able to switch their kind of roles and do that so much more often that the meta can change a lot more rapidly. Um, I think I wouldn't like something like that. I think I would like to see something like maybe you can only respec like once a week or maybe like once every 2 weeks. Maybe there's a time limit. I don't know. I have no idea. This is just me talking
Uh,
theory crafting, but
Agreed.
I think there should be like maybe like a time limit, or if there is only an Atlas fee, maybe it should be like the equivalent of like $10 of Atlas, where it's not like super spammable. I don't know. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts though on like the proper way of making sure it's not an abused function.
Yeah. So
I,
the chat is saying each time you spec, it costs 5x more than the last time. Whitemane said. That's
5x. Oh
two
my
reactions.
gosh.
that's a good one, but I think like the most important part of it is that you need to go back all the way to your central space station to respec. So you can't just go, you are traveling, you have
Oh.
25% discount on the star path fees, and when you reach the planet, you change for all your fleets, and then you have suddenly 100 fleets spawning at a random location. So I feel that the counter to this abuse is you need to go back to the CSS, you need to respec there, and then you need to go with the build that you want to your destination.
I mean, if you take Star Path networks, I mean, you can significantly reduce that time it takes to travel to the CSS and come back, right?
Yeah, but then you would need to adjust the star path to move back. Like for example, if you want to have full strength, like if you want to put everything in fleet and fleet size, you won't be putting you won't be putting skills in star path, and you can't do that in the battlefront. You need to come back to your central space station, set up the full fighting build, and then you go back and need to pass through all the gates again to fight on the battlefront.
And don't forget that
Yeah.
not everything is connected, of course, by star path either, right? So yeah.
It's a good point.
But I feel that the most used Atlas sync on that front will be the respawn timer reduction. On my opinion, I feel that people will be so mad that they got wrecked that they will be pushing that button to respawn faster and go back to fighting and defending their home worlds and things like that. I totally feel people will be burning their Atlas trying to fight more and be flying their fleets more on Sage. That
Oh
would be
man, I
my
could
bad.
see that one. I could definitely see that one
Yeah.
being like the like to start out Sage being the most used one, because maybe like everyone is just so like it's just the Wild West. Everyone's just fighting. But as the game like goes on and goes further, I think there's gonna like I said, there's gonna start to be a meta. There's gonna start to be like people know exactly what to do and how to play and stuff like that. They know how to be risky, when to be risky and stuff like that. So maybe in the early game, maybe respawning is the most used one, but I think as people start learning the game, maybe that becomes something that they don't use as often. But who knows? Maybe everyone in the community is just a degen and fights all the time.
Yeah.
I would bet on
And probably
that.
Dom will be one of those, right? Dom,
Oh, that's
you're a
gonna
Call
be
of
my
Duty
most
player.
yeah. Oh, 100%, 100%. I'm
You want
aggro.
to respawn again.
Man, Dominic, it's going to be super fun seeing Dominic get his fleet, max respawn timer, spending all his Atlas. He'll be fighting on every battlefront of Star Atlas. It's
Yeah.
going to be fun.
So let's go back a little bit. So we discussed three different Atlas things, right?
Yeah.
We discussed the Star Path gate. Uh, so you need to. Those are all direct. You need to pay that. What else did we discuss?
They're
My mind is
reclaiming
not working.
the assets from the
Gear.
star base that gets destroyed. We actually discussed four of them: the star bases, the star path fees, the privilege points reallocation, and the spawn timer. And there is another one very important, but now for the mining enterprises gameplays. The land stake claim rent, it's also paid in Atlas. If you want to have your claim stakes working, you got to pay the cons of peace fees, guys. Those guys, they don't play around. And if you don't pay your fees, your claim stake gets unstaked. And someone else is going to get your spot. So
Man,
remember to
that's
pay the
ridiculous,
taxes.
bro. I have to pay taxes in and out of game.
Exactly.
No, but that is a sink.
That's another one. Yeah, that's another thing.
That's another
And
thing, and a very
very
important one.
important one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you mess this up, you get racket. You lose your spot on that tier 5 planet on the medium risk zone, man, and that would be sad.
That would be sad. That would be very sad. I see PG tagging me saying the hangars. Not sure what you're referring to, like an Atlas sync related to the hangars.
I
Yeah.
Maybe
think
I'm
he's
missing
referring to the
something.
old system we had
Yeah,
previously in mind.
yeah, the old system
you.
where you pay Atlas to upgrade your hangars. It's not the current meta, PG, because the council rank system surpassed the idea of using Atlas to upgrade the hangars.
Okay.
Sanchi, do you think that we can start theory crafting now about the future of Atlas Syncs and things like that?
I know you want to go there.
I want to
I
go
know you
there,
want to go
bro.
there.
I want to go there, bro.
Yeah. Maybe we can start brainstorming like some immediate things that you guys could be, I don't know, thinking about, or and then we go to the future if there are no immediate ones. I'm trying to think about like any immediate ones
I think an immediate
based
one that
on
I
the
was thinking about,
gameplay.
one that I was thinking about earlier is fleeing. So like if you fail like a flee, what if there was an Atlas fee that you could pay, and it scales with the power level of who is attacking you. So if you fail to flee against two Pierce X4s, like the fee is gonna be low. But if you fail a flee against like a tree arrow or a Titan ship, the fee will be higher. What about having an Atlas fee for like fleeing?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Ooh,
That's fine. That's fine.
why? Why?
Why? This
I
will
want to hear
reduce the
why.
people's loot. Yeah, because I don't feel that maybe having Atlas fees for game mechanics like allow you to bypass fights. I feel
Mhm.
that this might work against the idea of burning resources through the fights, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you then make it so that they only pay if it's successful, or also, or just for trying to flee?
Say it again, Ronald. One more time.
Would you then also go so far as to let them pay, or to make them pay, irregardless, or if they succeed fleeing, or only if they succeed? I can imagine
I would
the.
say if they didn't succeed. If they succeed a flee, I don't think they would need to pay. This is just my own. Obviously, people don't even like it. So
So
like,
then you get punished double, right? You've both failed to flee, and you have to pay for failing to flee. I'm not so sure about that personally.
it's okay. I was just starting out with a dumb idea, so everyone else feels smarter.
No, I like the idea. I would just I, I just think if you are successful, then you should perhaps pay that fee. But if you're unsuccessful, then not.
Yeah.
Man, this is
I
fun.
just posted a poll poll, and it's pretty close. It's well, no, not right now, but it's 3 in favor, 5 in
Oh, oh
favor.
my God, who are the five? Shame on you. I'm joking.
Look at that! Look at that! Someone gave a middle finger reaction.
We went from
You guys
play to
vote a
earn
riot in the
we
community, guys.
from play to earn to pay to flee.
You got canceled, Dominic.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm already fired. Thanks, guys.
Your last day as Star Atlas, a good way to start the year, Dom.
Oh man.
I mean, this brings up a good point. I saw someone say like fees everywhere, and I think there needs to be a balance, right? Like we're talking about fees, like they're always a good thing, but there needs to be a balance, of course. There needs to be a balance for sure. So like you don't want to play a game where there's a bunch of Atlas fees, but you want, since it's Star Atlas blockchain game, you want there to be Atlas fee sinks. So I think an underrated topic here is making sure that the game of Sage is balanced in a way where there's a sufficient amount of Atlas fees, but there's not too many that deters players from being like, wow, there's a fee for this, like really, like. So I think that was a good point that someone brought up.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that the fee structure will be something like the resources for score, like the prices for each one of the resources is not something that's groundbreaking for the game activity, and the econs team is taking a lot of care with this construction. So I'm hopeful that we'll have a good balance, as you said, on that one.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also pretty normal to have like quote unquote, like we're calling them fees because they're Atlas, but like in a game, like you still like use in-game currency, like that isn't like a crypto token or anything like that. You still use in-game currency to basically do everything. So it's kind of the same, but like I said, since it is like a crypto token, it can definitely feel like a fee. So I think, like I said, the balance is going to be key for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hello, talk to me.
Hello.
How's everybody doing? I hope you had an amazing end of year and that prosperity falls on your lap on 2023. Um, I've always been curious about this, and when it comes to combat and being able to escape or mechanics associated with gameplay, that is something that has been explored in other games as well. And I can tell you from experience that it has been a failed conversation because people that have focused on actually gathering those resources used to pay those fees instead of actually honing the craft of the gaming portion of the game instead, or relying on communities like guilds or associations and things that are associated to the gaming aspects specifically can be benefit or can reap the benefits on that. So if someone has a big bank instead of actually abilities when it comes to gaming, they will always get out of trouble. So again, because of experience in other games, I can say with a certain level of knowledge that usually doesn't work. And also I think it deters on the fact that there should be a consequence for everything that you do. If you gamble in big casinos, there's going to be a heavy consequence as well. So I
Yeah.
think that should be part of the gaming aspect of it all. Consequences should be big if you actually try to do something big gaming wise. So I think it's better if it's left alone. If you're waging to try to defeat someone in game and you get away with it, well, good for you, you're going to get big rewards. But if you get slammed to the ground, it's on you too. So
Yeah, that's a really good point, Lucius.
I
Seriously.
agree.
I think, like I said, my idea, like I just thought of it like 10 minutes before the brew. Like I wasn't like super in depth, like I wasn't going super in depth into it. But now that we're talking about it, like I really don't like the idea because, like you said, it can just be abused, pay to win, stuff like that. So I completely agree with you, man. It's a good point.
Thank
Hey
you.
guys.
Raf.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
Ray?
man?
Is it you, Ray?
Is that
Yeah,
right?
what's up? Hey here. Happy New Year. Okay. Hey, I hope everyone's doing all right. Santi and I were going back and forth in chat about the maybe we have for crafting not just a time reduction, but a complete compensation for materials that you don't have to be replaced with Atlas. So the less materials you've taken the time to harvest yourself to then craft an item, you can then use Atlas to fill in for what's missing, the difference. But you would have to pay a lot more if you didn't take any time to craft anything at all. Although you can go on the market and buy them, maybe that could be an option for people to play to like another market opportunity for arbitrage. If maybe you could buy it for cheaper on the market versus your time going to get it versus you paying Atlas straight out to get it done with what you have. So it's a couple things you can do there. Just an idea.
I think that would sabotage the player economy a little bit, to be honest, because if you offer people a way out, not to buy it from other players, but from the team or from the DAO, then I personally would not like that option so much.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just for open conversation here. I'm not in favor of one or the other. I agree with you, but I would make it so much so expensive to the point where it's like an ultimatum, and it would be for like reasons other than just simply I'll opt for Atlas because I have some. It should be something where it like increasingly exponentially costs more with the less materials you have, because then you would go then you would take your time and your Atlas to go to the marketplace to buy it off of someone who's already putting it up on the market, who took the time to harvest those resources. So it kind of redirects, it could potentially redirect people into the economy, the player economy. So, just brainstorming. Different
if the marketplace has a better offer, then of course people will still indeed go there. But I also like the fact that some resources might be so rare that people literally have to somehow just go out and get them because they are just not available or not in the supply you need. I think that also will be. So I'm not sure. I get what you're saying, and yeah, if the price is super high, then it might also be like an upper ceiling for some of these resources. But I am a bit fearful that it might take away from the gameplay and from the economy.
True.
I think something that we should keep in mind too is that people don't like losing all their shit. Like if they get blown up and they're getting griefed, they might not like that gameplay. So maybe there's some sort of line, right, where you don't lose everything. So I don't necessarily think it's bad, right, to not lose stuff, because then people won't have fun, right?
Well, you can stay, of course, in the safer security zones and not run that risk. Or run less of a risk.
Yeah. Santi, may I just start the next topic? Because I want to have some time, guys, for the theory crafting. Please.
Good.
Jose, talk to me, man.
Guys, the true Atlas sync, the thing that I envision that's going to bring most utility for Atlas, and that will make entertaining using Atlas, and that we want to use Atlas to have fun with, is the crew system that's coming on the later interactions of Sage. The way I foresee it is that when we start adding structures for crew members, things like universities, hospitals, training fields, academies, things like that, and you need to pay in Atlas for the services for your crew members, this is going to be a blast. Because think of that, like you are trying to train your perfect crew for data running. And you want those guys to develop the traits, you want them to develop the skills that will make them very proficient data runners. So man, you pay for the training, you pay for them to go to the therapist to learn how to deal with pressure. You pay for the best secondary buffs, like for example, you pay for them to have potions, enhancements. You buy the modules for the ships, and you do that because, first of all, you want to be successful. You want to have the perfect crew for your job. But it's going to be a lot of fun to be the guy that has managed to make up that team, and you build a connection with your team. Those are your crew members. Those are the guys that you are training to be your representation in the Star Atlas metaverse, So man, if it's me, I'm talking about me right now. The Newt crew will have only the best that the Galaxy can offer. You know what I'm saying? I'll take them to Newtopia and they'll be trained by Dominic in driving. Okay, no, not Dominic. I'll find a good
Whoa, what do you mean
professor.
not Dominic?
I'll find a good
Now.
professor
Oh,
for my
Oh
crew
my
members.
gosh! Did you see? Hey, hold on. Let me hold on. Let me defend myself real quick. I got 2nd place
I'm
over the
joking.
break.
Yeah, you proved their value, Dominic. That's actually true. You show
Although
that you can train my crew members.
Kamara
Bro.
shit on me. Kamara shit on me. Definitely. I'm 5th place now, but I was 2nd for a second there. Pun intended.
And the cool thing here is that you don't have to pay for any of that. You do that because you want extra content. You want to interact with the galaxy of Star Atlas. You interact with the quest system. Some of them might require Atlas. Let me give you a glimpse of the future, something that I foresee. Like, for example, you are sending your crew members on a mission on a deep risk zone, on a medium risk zone planet that's controlled by the Jorvik. And they need to bribe someone in that quest. So you send them with a few Atlas. And this can work. This can work out and this cannot work out. And you'll be using your Atlas as a means of interacting with the Star Atlas universe in a very natural and organic way. I feel this is the ultimate utility. That's what's going to make Atlas interesting. That's going to make the game fun. This is going to make the gameplay useful. This is going to make like you build connections with the Star Atlas metaverse, with the planets, with the crew members, with the universe as a whole. Man, this is going to be awesome, you know. And another thing that I feel that's going to be a huge Atlas sync is when we implement the DAOs in the Star Atlas galaxy, you know, because the regional DAOs, they will establish taxes to fund their operations, and all of those will be used in Atlas, denominated in Atlas. They will pay the wages of the people working for the DAO in Atlas, and yeah, this will be another huge sync that I would love to get feedback on you guys on what you think about those crazy ideas of your penguin.
That's the Star
So-
Atlas economy, just say, man.
So Newt, so
love
just
it.
say, question here then. As far as
Shoot
I
me.
seem to recall, but I might be wrong, and of course things also change over time. Universities could actually be established by players, in which case I could send my crew to somebody else's university potentially to get an education, and also in which case I would probably pay them. But then the money, of course, it's not an Atlas sync in the same way because it just flows from player A to player B. Is that still, am I right, or is that something that I made up myself? Or
No, you're absolutely right. They are structures inside the Star Atlas universe, but I totally foresee that there will be small taxes on those kind of activities that will be used as Atlas syncs. You know, these are indirect Atlas syncs, pretty much as the marketplace works on. You know,
it would be funny if those are player-owned structures and they are in a certain region.
For
that
sure.
The region
For
can
sure.
actually determine
Yeah.
that tax. The tax
Exactly,
on
exactly.
education.
exactly. This drives a whole building of economic activity. You know, like for example, one person can focus on making their space region into a very good industrial area, and the industrial taxation is very low or non-existent, and the taxation in other activities that support the industrial area, they will be used to finance this subsidy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is the real economy that's going to drive utility for Atlas, that's going to create sinks, that's going to drive utility to the currency inside the game. And man, this is the future that I want to see. This is what's going to make super fun gameplays, and it's going to grow the Atlas utility inside the metaverse.
I think it's pretty cool if the regional DAOs have actually the ability to tax, like, I don't know, let's say 100 different activities. Of course, it will still be up to the DAOs to decide if they want to tax them. But if those mechanics are in place, then I completely agree. You can do very fun and interesting things with that.
That's the future I see, Funcracker. That's the future I see
Love
from
it.
day
Love
one
it.
in Star Atlas. People are saying, call me a crooked accountant who will falsify tax returns. Guys, come on. You can't evade the Council of Peace, guys. They will send a Titan ship on your way to collect the taxes. Don't do that.
Yeah, I need to find a bug where I avoid those fees.
Jose, I have a question for you.
Sure, man.
Do you think that very specific traits that might benefit a faction in particular, will those traits have a financial impact that will be different, or that will be connected to a specific pricing? If you want to say amp up the training for a specific faction because that faction focuses on A or B thing that I need to get done, and if I'm me being an Ustur, I need to focus on a specific of training that obviously benefits what I want to do. So, do you think that being part of a faction will have an impact on how the prices for said trainings will be, you know, uh,
Um,
affecting what I want to do, or that's going to be indifferent and it's going to be, a base price across all the
I
factions?
love this question, Lucius. This is actually a very interesting and intelligent question. And what I'm going to answer you right now is purely theory crafting. Uh, and it's my personal opinion. I'm not from the accounts team. I'm not from the game design team. But if you ask me and how I would suggest that the Star Atlas system works on that matter, is that, yeah, this is theory crafting, purely theory crafting. Put the disclaimers, guys. So how this would work for me? Every crew member in the Star Atlas, they are the basis of the system, right? The crew members are the one crafting, are the one that will be getting leveled up. This is as far as I know the current comprehension of the game. So when you are an Ustur, your crew member is created, there will be a table of specific traits that they will be able to acquire when they are minted or created. The Ustur species will have a higher chance of having of some traits that are both, some are positive, some are negative, associated with their culture. Like, let's take the Miris, because we have already disclosed the lore of the Miris to you guys, so you guys have a good understanding of how it works. So let's say, for example, the Miris would have a higher chance of getting a trait like survivalist, because this is the kind of thing that's associated with their culture. So let's say that this trait, they have a higher chance of appearing on the Miris, and they would have also a different trait that's bad as well. That's due to their culture. It's possible to appear on them. And every member of this species, they will have those traits minted, and on some traits or some characteristics, they are acquirable by gameplay. Let's say by studying, let's say by passing through very stressful situations, things like that. Some of those traits, they will impact the production inside the game. So for example, let's say that you are slothful, your character is slothful, and you send him to do a crafting mission. He might take more time than a normal crew member of his level to create anything. And this indirectly has an in-game impact on the economic terms. So this is the way that I would approach the impact of different species and different characters inside the Star Atlas economy. Not something direct, but something that makes sense to the species lore, to the specific crew member trait. Because in Star Atlas, even inside the species or a faction, there is a diversity of thoughts and and abilities and skills. Like as in the human race, right? Everyone is different. Everyone has different skills, different abilities, different talents. And that's how I want things to play uh, in theory crafting. Mustache is asking, is there any race that doesn't have any restriction on trait acquisition, purely theory crafting? I don't know, Mustache. I don't know, friend. Maybe.
Pretty direct question for theory crafting, right?
Purely theory crafting, Sanji. Purely theory crafting. As always.
As always, that's the brew. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Jose.
No, no problem at all. But yeah, man. If you ask me, Jose, what's the thing that you love most in Star Atlas that you want to work on? Right now, there are two things that I'm pushing to devote my life inside Star Atlas to work on. The first one is the crew, trade systems, and development. This is what I was just talking about right now. I want to help creating those things associated with the lore of the game and the species of Star Atlas. That's one branch. And another branch that will also impact Screen Sage is the planet's lore and quests and conditions. What I want to do is create specific lore for each one of the planets and have quests associated with them. So, for example, let's say that you found a planet in the medium risk zone. You learn that that planet is governed by the Jorvik, or by someone that's linked with the Jorvik faction. There would be an option, aside from mining and etc., that you go and fund an expedition to that planet. And then that planet would have a table of events that are the possible outcomes of your expedition to that planet. And the results of that expedition would be randomized and a little influenced by the skills of the crew members that you are setting for that mission. I think this would drive people to establish emotional relationships with the planets and the star systems that they decide to colonize, and would drive people to fight for their home worlds, for the systems and the planets and the populations that lives there. And yeah, this is also something that I would love to see in Star Atlas.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I would like to know if there are any final comments before we close. Any closing thoughts from anyone?
Not a
Okay.
comment per se, but if I can ask one question to Jose quickly.
Sure.
For sure.
I'm super curious if you're able to shine some light on the current lore/content writing team, because so far I get the impression we hear a lot from you, and everything that's being shared is something that you directly worked on. But there are more people on the team, as far as I'm aware, and I'm just curious what is your role currently? And what role do the other people potentially have? Is that something you can comment on, or not at all? I'm purely curious here.
Yeah, how this works. We have myself. We have Matt Medley, who is the head writer of Star Atlas. He's in charge of supervising everyone's work, mine included. So when I have an idea of the lore and etc., I submit to him, and we work on the concept and integrates it with the other department's lore. We have Tim that you guys know. He's also working on the graphic novel. This is his realm, but Matt is doing the midfield on getting the narratives together here. And we have Sean from game design, who is also working on the something more tied to the combat systems. And we have people from the art design as well that works on things like the trailer that you guys saw, and we have, of course, Danny's supervision on over everything.
Got it. But indeed, then it is indeed the case that you are probably one of the people on the team that's writing the most lore. I get the impression, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Okay, thanks for illuminating me. I was curious how it now actually worked internally with you guys, but thanks.
Yeah, no problem, friend.
Cool. I think it's a good moment to close. And I think it was a great brew, actually. And we discussed a lot of different things. As always, very, 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 very productive conversation. And always we take notes and we send them to the team. So the team from Sage is going to be aware of everything that we talked about. And yeah, we will make sure of that. So before we close, Dom, any closing thoughts? Anything you want to add?
Um, no, I'm not gonna. Actually, there is one thing. Next week's brew, I would really like to see all the big guilds. So, like I said, Aphia, Chimera, the club, anyone else, medium guilds, small guilds, doesn't matter the size. If you guys are a multi-faction guild, or if you just have a strong opinion on whether or not multi-faction guilds can be successful in Sage, I would really, really like everyone to attend next week because I think it's probably the most controversial topic we have going into Sage. So I think it's going to be really interesting to talk about. Other than that, though, first brew of 2023, really, really looking forward to this year. Like I said, comparing the beginning of last year to this year is like night and day, and I'm just really excited to really hit the ground running here. It's going to be a good year.
Yeah, man. It's the dream is becoming more and more real. That is what is happening in 2023. Every day, more and more. So, yeah, Jose, anything to close?
Oh man, just I'm super excited, as you guys can see. That's it.
We all are, and we love your theory crafting, Jose. The brew, of course, wouldn't be the same without you, man. And the
Oh, bro.
community and the team.
Yeah, this
So,
is.
some love for you, Jose.
Thank you, bro. I
We love
love
you,
you
Jose.
guys. I love you too as well. The three of us going to have so much fun being destroyed in the Sage and Unreal Engine 5.
Cool. So I think it's a good moment to close. Me myself, I'm super happy to be back in the brew. It was only 1 week, but honestly, it felt like a lifetime to me not being here. Like we love doing the brew. We love chatting here with you all, and we love theory crafting and just nerding about Star Atlas. And I think what we have here in the brew is something really, really special. The community as a whole, but the brew, I love it. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining. This was the Atlas Brew number 45, and see you next week where we will talk about multi-faction and single-faction guilds. So see you everybody and power to the people.
Check it to the man. See you guys. Bye bye.
See you. Bye. Thank you.